average wedding in New Jersey is $57,000.
I know you don't think I'm giving this $4 million to a bunch of nuns.
I don't know if you know this, but the average wedding in New Jersey is about $54,000 to $57,000, depending on where you read on Google. New Jersey is the most expensive state to get married in, or so Zola says. And then Google AI says that New Jersey is one of the most expensive states to get married in. Daniel and I don't have that kind of money, so we're doing a micro wedding instead. Originally, the list that I had put together, or was starting to put together, I was told I had to like get rid of because I started out doing multiple lists, to be honest, and I had to get rid of all of them. Went through a much shorter list with my grandma, so I don't have my parents anymore, and he only has his mother. We were trying to get like in the up to 30 or 30-ish range of guests, and when we were at 33, we were like, no, we can't do that because that's like an Illuminati number. So we had to add somebody else in. But then I was telling Daniel, I'm like, we have to keep count that we're part of that too, and the vendors. So we decided to have a micro wedding. Now our list is like maxed up. I was trying to keep it to 3 tables, maybe 4, 10 people at most at each table. I was hoping we wouldn't have to do 4 tables, but now it looks like we're going to do 4. We invited some extra people later on. I realized I couldn't not have at the wedding, people in my family. So we're doing a micro wedding. It's going to be much less than $50,000, hopefully. I'm thinking around 15 at most, hopefully. We're going to be having it at a beautiful place close to our home that is by the river. It's overlooking the river. It's the middle of September. We're hoping we'll have the ceremony outside. It'll still be warm, but hopefully not too warm. And it won't be raining. If it's not raining and the weather's decent, we'll have the ceremony outside in the marina. Then we're going to have the cocktail hour and reception upstairs in their smaller party room. But it will be a sit-down dinner because I don't like buffets. And I'm my mother's daughter. And if you knew my mother, you know what she was like. You're not going to do buffet. Hells no, we're not doing buffet. We're having a sit-down dinner. I dropped something. So that's what we're doing. So that's where the price is going to be a little bit higher. So like per person, it's about the same as like probably any other place. The good thing about it is there's no venue fee, or at least it's not going to be thousands of dollars like it would have been if we had it at most other places in New Jersey. Because from what I saw, most venues had a venue fee ranging anywhere from like, let's say $16,000 plus. Some places were a little less just to pay for the venue. And then it goes up. And then you have to take account costs of the meals per person, the bar, this, that, and the other thing. I could have gone without a DJ, but Daniel was like, I'll just pay for the DJ. Fortunately, I did learn early on when I was talking to DJs. One of the DJs I had spoken to, when I told him the size of our guests, like our wedding guests count that we were thinking at the time, he's like, oh, that's more like a dinner party with music. And I was like, yes, exactly. So he's like, I'm not going to charge you the wedding fee. I would charge you for like a dinner party with music and a lot less. It's hard because most DJs will be like thousands at most, thousands starting off. And the photographers are pretty much the same thing. But you also, when it comes to photography, you are getting what you pay for, keep in mind. And I wound up going with another DJ who was going to charge me like basically his basic package with little bit of lighting. It'll just be a solo DJ, and he was going to throw the ceremony in. She usually charged like 100 and something for, but he was going to just like give that to us free. He was going to make a deal, like an exception for us, I guess. And then like I think it was 1,100 for everything for him, which was really good. The ceremony, I thought we were going to pay extra, but that was for like if you had the ceremony in the big room downstairs, but we're not doing that. The only downside is we have to share the bathroom with the restaurant, like the bathrooms. I mean, there's one for women, one for men. I mean, the little bit of guests we're gonna have, I'm hoping that'll be fine. So I mean, it's adequate. It's just you have to share the restaurant's bathroom with the restaurant people, and for that kind of a view and everything, I think we got a really, really good deal, or great deal. So I had a script or something that I was going to follow, but I'm not really into that. We're doing a micro wedding on a budget in New Jersey. The main reason why we decided to skip a full-size wedding was because of financials. So one of the things you have to look for when you're doing your florals, so Daniel's brother works for a company, and one of his coworkers, he says, has a little business. She's a small business owner where she does mainly like wedding florals. So we're literally just getting my bouquet. We're getting corsages, and we're having a small wedding party, which is another way to budget because we're having a small micro wedding. We're having a micro wedding. Naturally, we're going to have a small wedding party. So it's me with my bouquet. The bouquet is the most expensive part of the florals. It's going to be a few $100s. To me, is crazy, but I read it's average or whatever. So it's going to be a nice bouquet. We're going to have corsages for my sister, who's my maid of honor, and then my future stepdaughter, Daniel's daughter, Kaylee. She's my little miss honor. Daniel, who's the groom, he's going to have his boutonniere. Then his cousin, who's going to be the groom's man, and his brother, the best man, are going to have boutonnieres. So there's 3 boutonnieres, 2 corsages, and my bouquet. And that's all we're ordering from the floral lady. We're going to just get like whatever looks pretty that day at ShopRite. I'm going to pull them apart and put them in this really pretty white lacy flower girl basket I got on Amazon. And I got a ring bearer pillow with the strings for my nephew, which we also got on a budget from the jewelry store where Daniel bought my engagement ring. It was a recommended jewelry store, a nice one in Eatontown. My cousin recommended, because he's like, you can't, unless you got like money to throw out and you're an idiot. Paraphrasing. Don't go to a chain jewelry store. You gotta go to not a chain. And that's what he did. Between the two of us, he wound up spending a little more than what he was looking to spend. Not too much more. His ring wound up being more than we were anticipating. It was still a lot more affordable. His was like, I don't know, say $500. I can't remember. He got a basic gold band, and then I got a gold band with a few diamonds on it up here, just like I had wanted. My ring, we were looking to do 1,000 at most. We wound up going a little over 1,000. It wasn't that much over. I just can't remember how much it was. That's what you got to do, and that's a great recommendation that my cousin gave us. Excellent recommendation. So that's another way to save money. Go to a store, not a chain. And so I went to a baker. That's another small, like definitely go to small businesses. Highly recommend small businesses. Like the restaurant, this restaurant we're using for our wedding, it's not a chain. It's like a one-off. It's one-off. It's the only one. It's another small business we're supporting, ironically. When you're looking at micro budget, I would say go to a small business, venue, a restaurant. There were other ones that I was also considering. A really, really nice place at Red Bank. That was a restaurant, but they had an area where you could have a wedding with a dance floor. That was my next go-to. A really, really fancy restaurant, but they were also seemingly affordable. And there was another one in Long Branch in Pure Village I was also considering, and they were also giving a really good deal. Similar pricing, and was just very convenient for us too because of the locality. It's so close to our house. It's like 5-10 minutes away. I'm not kidding. Very close, very convenient, and beautiful, right on the water. The place in Red Bank I don't think was on the water. The place in Long Branch is, but this was perfect for us once we realized, well, we were going to have to do. And so the cake, we went to a baker, small business owner, and she'll come to you, which was also a plus. Does really great work. Very affordable. We're having a micro wedding. We're doing 2 tiers. The top tier is going to be different from the bottom tier. You can't see my hands up here. Top tier is going to be different from the bottom tier. And I don't want to tell you exactly what we're doing, but I know what we're doing. And it's going to match, like we pretty much designed the cake. Kaylee, Daniel's daughter, created a sketch, kind of a sketch for us, for me to send to her. And I also sent her like things that I was inspired by. And then we noticed recently the cakes that Jen's been doing are similar to the idea that we're going to be having. I don't know if she was inspired by us or if it's just like a similar thing that people were asking for. I don't know. But I just thought that was like really, really cool because like I told Daniel the other day, I was like, look at this cake. That's exactly what we're doing on the top layer with like flecks of gold and silver. Except that was just gold. That's exactly what I was talking about when I said the gold foil on the cake. And it's going to be buttercream on the outside, that I'll tell you. And then there's going to be like an ombre effect on the bottom. So our wedding Cinderella blues with gold and silver primarily. That kind of stuff. White, obviously. It'll be in that kind of idea. But it pays to save. You're going to have your wedding on a budget to go to small businesses. To use small businesses for sure, and also saves money by like we're literally just using like we're doing our florals the way I'm doing it. We're doing it. We're not doing that for the tables. We're making our own centerpieces. Cinderella theme inspired. Daniel and his mother got the main part of the centerpiece from the dollar store, and then other pieces came from like maybe Michael's or Hobby Lobby, Amazon. We're using fake flowers, but they're gonna look really pretty. And then we got like I don't want to tell you exactly what it is yet, but but then there's going to be like a LED candle that's supposed to look like it's flickering, and that's going to go in there too. And I got brand new like good batteries to put in there, so hopefully it'll like last the whole night that we need it for. And then she got like pretty like rhinestone things, I think it is, beads, beaded thing to string around it, which will make it look even more elegant. I think those came from Amazon or something, craft store maybe. And then she's also making, you know, like when you go to a wedding, they have the gift card or envelope box. She made that for us too, and she's literally using an Amazon box. What do you call it? Not upsell. Maybe it is upsell. Recycle, reuse. Recycle, reuse. Got an Amazon box laying around? Use that Amazon box for your gifts box. The envelope gift box for your wedding or whatever other party you're having. And she's taking a really beautiful gold fabric. I don't want to tell you too much about it. I'm just gonna tell you it's a gold fabric. She used to be like a seamstress and whatever. She still does that kind of stuff. She makes her own clothes and things. It makes other people's clothes and things. So she wrapped the box with that. So you don't even know it was until I told you it's an Amazon box. An Amazon box with this beautiful gold fabric, putting fake florals on that, and like this pretty rhinestone patchy thing around the opening. This isn't a square. It's a square or rectangle. Say this is the box. So like around the area here where you would put the envelope in, you have to cut a slot open, stick the envelopes in. So around the edge there is going to be this rhinestone thing, which is so pretty. It's going to be so elegant, and you can make this stuff yourself. And Daniel was like, I didn't realize how this is going to cost so much money, but it's still probably a lot cheaper than going to somebody else. And I'm like, we really need to start our own freaking business, wedding stuff business. And then another way to save, besides the DJ, the florals, making all those decorations, I'm making my own place. Like, you know, when you go to a party or a wedding or whatever, and when you go to the table, when you're getting ready to go into the party room, they have the place cards with your name and your table on it. So I named each table a Cinderella themed table. I'll tell you now because I know only a few people are probably going to watch this. The tables are, ours is Happily Ever After. I don't know if we're going to do it or not, but I might make the table thing for us, the ones that are going to go on the table for our place settings. I asked Daniel, do you want that? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I'm making those too. I started making those the last couple days. I'm waiting for more paper to come so I can print them. I ran out of paper, but I'm making the little table things that you fold over. We're gonna have the Happily Ever After for our table. Then it's the Royal Court for the young main. The Royal Court is like the main bridal party, wedding party table. And then we're gonna have Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, which is like the main old people table, which will have my grandma, his mother, his grandma, and then a bunch of other old people. So it's so funny to me though. And then there's gonna be Clock Strikes 12, which is one of the other guest table that I try to mix all of our families and friends together. He's not having any friends. It's gonna be me, my like family, our families, and then and then one of my old friends from high school, and then she's bringing her sister. Her fiance can't make it, and they're gonna be at the other table, which is called the Glass Slipper. And I got most of the table names from ChatGPT, but I didn't like one of the tables, the wedding party table. I didn't like the name ideas they gave us, so I was talking to Keely, my stepdaughter, about it one day, and I was like, I need your help. And then I'm like, what should we name that table? And then we came up with the Royal Court, and it made perfect sense. And then I have to ask her and remind her that she's going to be making the table signs somehow. So I'm making the place cards that are foldable, one that's going to go on that table that says like, Kaylee, you're sitting at the Royal Court. And then I'm going to make table setting cards that'll says your carriage awaits, and then your name. And then that'll be like there, like by like, you know, like when you go to a party, they have like the menu or something on top of your like plates and stuff. So I was going to have them do that for us. So you come to your seat and it's assigned. I'm very organizational, and so I like that. He said his mom's not going to find other people, and I'm like, it's too bad. Because, like, one, that's what we're going to do. That's what I want. And also, it makes it easy for the staff when they're giving us our food. Because everyone, when we do the head counts, because it's a sit-down dinner, I have to give them a list of, like, all the guests, where they're sitting, and what each individual person's ordering. And then other ways to budget. Originally, we were trying to find a photographer that was more affordable than what we're going with. But we learned quickly that you should not, unless you want, if you don't care what your photographs look like, don't go to a chain. Because We learned the day you might talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, the photos are going to look like this because this is what Bob's photographs look like. But when you go to a chain, you may not get Bob the day of your wedding. You might get Cassandra, and Cassandra's photos may not be, they may or may not be as good, if not better, than Bob's photos. And then, God forbid, you got Cassandra and Cassandra's a bad photographer or mediocre. You're going to get stuck with a mediocre pictures for your wedding. No way, Jose. So we wound up going with a small business, but we follow them online. So like we know what their work looks like. We know what to expect. And it's not that much more, but it is more than what we're looking to spend. But we realize the amount of money you spend on photography really matters. If you pay $500, you're going to get $500 quality of photos. If you spend $1,000, you're going to get that. $3,000, you're going to probably get that. If you spend $8,000, you better expect your photographs are going to be like exceptional. We unfortunately can't afford to spend $8,000 on photography. So we got, I think it's like a little less than $3,000. But that was something that Daniel was willing to splurge on for quality photos. We're not having a videographer though. And we're going to try to have a photo wall thing, like a photo booth area, but like our DIY photo booth. So that's a way to budget, to save on money if you still want to do something. And I have like a bunch of props that I bought that we could use, like little paper props and things like that for like the look. Like the thing you hold up and you're like, mustache, you could use. And we can get like a cheap thing. I think I bought one already, a cheap like thing, like the things, the plastic, like I got a gold one, like this, what do you call it, streamer type wall thing, like Kaylee used to have in her room. I got one also. You could like just tape to the wall. Yes, man, just tape to the wall, one area of the wall if you want to. And then you have like a pretty backdrop. It'll be nice. And then Daniel said he's thinking about getting this like really cool picture printer that's on sale. I'll have to remind him. And then, so like there's way to save, still have a really nice wedding, and like still get what you want for the most part. You might have to sacrifice some things. We're doing open bar, but we're just having a wine and beer bar where you get like 4 wines, 4 beers, and they'll have champagne, I believe, included in that. And then I hope what I wanted. That's what we asked for. And then if you want cocktails or like other liquor drinks, that's cash bar. You got to pay that yourself. We're not paying for that. So that's one drawback for that. But you know what? Wine and the beer, that's included. The beer we picked already, which ones we want. Like we're getting like Yangling, Heineken, I think is the other basic beer. And then we're doing like, I think Corona Light, Heineken, Yangling, and Corona Light. I don't know. I forgot the other. I don't know when it stopped recording, but it stopped recording again. Hair and makeup. So I found another small business, hair and makeup duo, that'll be doing our hair and makeup. They said they usually don't do smaller than 4 people, but they'll make an exception for us. However, my price will be a little higher. I did a trial with them. I liked it. My sister did her hair trial and her makeup trial, and then Kaylee didn't do either of those, which is, she said she'll still do it. She might be very particular about it, but that we got a good deal on, I think. Photographer, I got a dress through David's Bridal that was about $600, which was a lot cheaper than what most people are paying, I think. Can't afford Kleinfeld, but it's still a very lovely dress. It's ivory. I got a nice veil, a matching veil. I got a second dress from Macy's, and I got my shoes from David's Bridal on sale with like a discount, I think. On top of that, the same thing with the Macy's dress. I got that on clearance with the discount from Macy's with my new credit card. And then, so I saved money. It was a $40 dress. That's all I paid for that. So it was like worth it. Daniel got his suit from Jase Bank, which was like partial rental, partial purchase. The jacket, the vest, and the pants he bought. Also a way to save money. You got it on like a Memorial Day sale. Plus, save money by renting. You go to a store like Jase Bank, which is more affordable than going to like some other places. And then the groomsmen are also, they're renting. So they're saving, I mean, it's more money than they were looking to spend, but they're still saving. Whereas buying versus going to another store where it would have cost a lot more, I think. And then my nephew, who's the ring bearer, we're going to bring him to Jase to get something too. He's 9, my nephew Lucas. The flower girl, his niece Gianna, is going to be getting something somewhere else. So we told him to get something blue that's hopefully somewhere in the same color range as the girls. She knows what to look for. Do what you want. I think that's something that I learned when I was originally told I couldn't invite certain people. Even though we're tight on budget, and I hate to admit, but I wound up breaking that by a bit because oh my goodness, I had to invite, I felt like there are certain people in my family that I normally see on the holidays, part of my life. So we wound up inviting them. It's that important to me, and I feel like my mother would want that. They're just so, even though we don't talk to each other all the time, we're not as close as we were when we were younger. They're still so important to me. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so important to me. They're like my brothers I never had, but I had to do what I had to do. So I definitely encourage you, follow your heart. You don't have to put yourself into deep debt, but follow your heart. If you want to have certain people at your wedding, I mean, do it within reason. If you want to, like, we're not going to have a videographer. We're having a photographer, having photographers. If that's really important to you, shop around, which is what I had to do. Shop around, shop around, shop around. Let people know if you're having a micro wedding, because some people told me they're not going to charge us for wedding deals. As soon as people hear wedding, a lot of times they're like, yeah, we're going to overcharge you. We'll upcharge you just because it's a wedding. Gotta shop around, look, talk around, ask people, do you know anybody? Anybody recommend? Look around. That's one good thing about social media nowadays. Like, I went on Wedding Wire, I went on this thing, that thing, but not. That's how I found my bridal makeup and hair team. That's how I found the DJ. I think that's how I found the photographers, things like that. Your vendors like that, you gotta look around. I found the girl lady from Daniel's brother, and the cake lady through my sister and whatever. But a lot of that you have to really shop around. But you could still have a really nice wedding. That's what we're gonna do. And so that's what we're doing. But definitely do what's right for you, like we're doing. If you have any questions or want to share your own micro wedding or wedding tips or experiences in the comments, please do so. I would love to hear your experiences or thoughts. And we're doing a lot of things on Canva. I did my invitations on Zola. My thank you cards I'm going to do on a mix of Canva, probably. Because the design we're using for our invitations, it's another way to say it. That design's no longer on Zola, so I have to use what we have. But I only bought the main invitation and the invitation envelopes. Everything else I did myself. Or I used other websites to create, like, the details page and the RSVPs and whatever. Like, be creative. That's what you gotta do. You gotta be creative. I was considering starting my own business, to be honest, like wedding, things like that. If anybody knows anybody was was looking for somebody to help them create their place cards and things like that, holler at your girl. Or organizing tables, seatings and stuff, holler at me. I didn't have a wedding planner. We did it all ourselves. If you're looking for a wedding planner, holler at me. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. Let me know what you think. Bye. I was recording on my webcam and it accidentally stopped and I didn't know it stopped.